Java Cafe. It's a wonderful cafe. I've been coming here for a long time. I always have the same thing called coffee. I wrote this book. I'm the co-author. I wrote it 25 years ago with Captain Gerald Rosenbalm. And we weren't able to publish it back then for many different reasons, which I won't go into. Oh, here's Andrew. Andrew, it started.
Good.
Andrew is my marker. Just Andrew. So, we thought it was a terrific book, and we were confused how come we couldn't get it published, because it was at the same time Bill Clinton became president, and there was a don't ask, don't tell, and they were using for the military at the time. That was new, and it was very controversial, and we thought we had the right book at the right moment, and we were very excited, and a lot of publishers put the same thing, and then after we read the book, they gave it back to me and they said, sorry, we didn't really want to publish it after all. So, take that for what it's worth. Even though they liked it. I had an editor at Vanity Fair who I showed it to, and she said, if you can find a publisher, we will take excerpts from the book and run them in Vanity Fair magazine, which was a pretty big deal in the early 90s. I said, can I tell them? Oh, absolutely. So I told different publishers who had it at the time, thinking that would certainly sell the book, and it didn't sell it even then. So I don't know why. Captain Gerald Rosenbalm was upset for many years that this book couldn't come out. It's his story, the story of a clean-cut American kid who in the mid-60s was facing the draft like so many others of us, like myself. We're now in our 70s. Even President Donald Trump made the news with Vietnam again recently about his bone spurs. So Vietnam was constantly in the news. But Jerry's problem was this. Jerry was gay. And when he was drafted, back in those days, you had to check the box. You were asked if you were gay, and if you checked the box saying you were gay, then the Army didn't want you. So many of his friends, he wasn't gung-ho to go in the Army, Jerry, but he didn't want to shirk his duties either. He, like a lot of other people at that time, he took college deferments. But when that finally ran out, he got a job as a teacher, and then, it must have been about 1966, he got the letter saying greetings, and he was drafted. And now he had the problem of whether he would check the box or not. He didn't want to check the box because he figured he didn't know what difference that would make. He wanted to serve like every other citizen if he was called upon to serve, and he didn't see why being gay would make any difference. So he didn't check the box, although many of his friends said, Jerry, check the box. You don't have to go into the Army. He didn't check the box because he didn't want it to impact his life after he got out of the Army. For instance, he was a teacher in a junior high school. And if that was on his record, then he probably wouldn't get teaching jobs. So there were many reasons he wouldn't check the box to declare that he was gay. But he was a proud gay man. And this is what happened to a clean-cut kid who happened to be gay, like a lot of other Americans, 59,000 of them who didn't come home, who came home in a rubber bag. Jerry almost came home that way because he was wounded 6 times during the Tet Offensive. Now, I'll quickly tell you something about the Tet Offensive. The Tet Offensive happened in 1968, January 1968. So this is the 50th anniversary of the Tet Offensive. The Tet Offensive happened during the holiday, the Vietnamese holiday, the lunar holiday, New Year's Day. They celebrated. Normally, the armies would go home, but this time, Jerry, who happened to be monitoring the Ho Chi Minh Trail, knew that they had celebrated the Tet Offensive 2 or 3 days before. So that sent up all kinds of red flags as far as he was concerned. He was sending back intelligence to the commanders that, what was going on in the Ho Chi Minh Trail. But it didn't. So there were Army people who knew that, generals knew that they were preparing, but they had no idea that it would be that huge. the perception was that the Vietnamese were defeated in '68. But when the North Vietnamese invaded hundreds of towns, or 100 towns, then it changed the perception. We took more fatalities. The Tet Offensive lasted about 5 weeks. U.S. soldiers, 400 or 500 U.S. soldiers died every week during the 4 or 5 weeks of the Tet Offensive, and thousands of casualties. The U.S. took more, had more deaths and more casualties in that short period of time than ever before in the history of the United States military. That was the Tet Offensive. The Vietnamese, North Vietnamese, did even worse. They were killed, they were just annihilated. But still, the fact that they were able to have such a huge force there, and even in Saigon, in Ellsworth bunkers, they even got into Ellsworth bunker, U.S. ambassador's home. So this changed the perception. LBJ was out. Not long after this, he said he wouldn't run again. Less than a year later, the commanding general, Westmoreland, was gone, and he was replaced by Creighton Abrams. So that's how the Tet Offensive, U.S. intelligence and most perceptive people in the U.S. at that point knew that the U.S., even though they had been led to believe would win this war, would no longer win the war. At best, it would be a stalemate, and maybe the U.S. would even lose. So that's what the Tet Offensive did, and Jerry Rosenbalm was there. The Tet Offensive and monitoring the Ho Chi Minh Trail, seeing all the supplies come down and how cleverly they were doing it. He was sending all this information, intelligence back, but he didn't get enough of a response. So he took 6 rounds and was nearly killed during this Tet Offensive. I think what I'll read is the first chapter from the book, which happens in Germany, because the army, after he was wounded and went back and recovered, he stayed in the army, he went to Germany, still as a spy. Jerry worked in army intelligence, now in Germany. Jerry Rosenbaum was kind of like a Forrest Gump. Wherever something was happening, it seemed that's where Jerry was. You know what, in the 60s, he didn't want to go, but he's in Saigon, the Tet Offensive, the Ho Chi Minh Trail. When he gets out and he recovers, he's now sent to Germany. And the Soviets invade Czechoslovakia. And other things, when he got back home, he was at Columbia. They had the student riots. In '91, we almost sold this book. And it seems like he was always at the forefront of the news, very Forrest Gump. I became very close with Jerry, and I think he was one of the nicest, most honest men I've ever met in my life, and I miss him a lot. And he died in 2006 without the book being published. And I published it now because of the internet and so on and so forth. I don't have to go to the big American people, the big publishers, and everyone knows that. I publish it by myself because I wanted Jerry's book to come out, and it's come out, and I'm happy it's come out. And I think anyone who reads this book will know that Jerry Rosenbaum was indeed an American hero. And I challenge anyone to read this book and really not fall in love with Jerry. He was bigger than life. This book will bring you to laughter, to tears. He was maybe the most honest person I've ever met in my life, and one of the nicest. So without further ado, as they say, I'll read you the very first chapter, which is called Conduct Unbecoming. Conduct Unbecoming, this is the book. For the chapter I took from Conduct Unbecoming, this is a book by Randy Schultz, in which Jerry Rosenbaum, with about 12 other service members, is a big part of it. Randy Schultz was the first gay, outwardly gay writer who had a beat with the San Francisco Chronicle, and his beat was gay topics. In this 81 to 86, he was covering the AIDS, what was happening with AIDS and gay men in America. And that book was called And the Band Played On. They made it into a very big motion picture. Got a lot of awards, nominated for lots of awards. His first book was on Harvey Milk, and this was his third book, Conduct Unbecoming. At the same time, Jerry was telling me the story, and I was going to help him write his memoir. He was also telling his story to Randy Schultz, who was double-checking everything. Very good journalist. He was a great journalist. He died at 40 of age-related disease. That was Randy Shulman. This is a book. It's a terrific book. And as a matter of fact,
It also was made into a movie. Yeah.
no,
Conduct Unbecoming, I think.
I don't think that was made into a movie. But anyway, the chapter on Jerry begins with this memorandum, which I filched from the book, because he was a great journalist. You know, he really did lots of research, Randy Shulman. So he got this from the military, and this is what it reads. It reads, Memorandum, Munich Station, 66th Military Intelligence Group, United States Army, Europe. On 10 March 1969, Munich Station, 766 MID, 66 MIGP was informed by the Munich office of the 13th CID, which is Counterintelligence Division, that an informant had indicated that he had special knowledge of homosexuals assigned to the 66 MIG would not disclose the information to the counterintelligence Munich Station. Munich Station contacted the informant, and after 5 hours of discussion, the informant admitted he had seen Captain Gerald Rosenbalm participate in an anal sodomy with a Czechoslovakian male national. On March 18, 1969, a secret cable, March 18, 1969, a secret cable was sent from Captain Gerald Rosenbaum's commanding officer to the Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence for the United States Army in Europe. This, and then read, this headquarters is presently conducting a limited counterintelligence investigation to confirm or refute allegations of a serious nature against Captain Gerald Rosenbaum. His ID 0533692, a member of this group. The allegations concern Captain Rosenbaum's moral turpitude, financial responsibility, and continuing association with foreign nationals who may be a questionable character with interest inimical to the United States. Request that this headquarters be authorized to conduct a subject interview of Captain Rosenbaum, and if he's willing, a polygraph examination. Within hours, the interview was authorized. So this is how the book begins. Now it's Jerry. I still have a great deal of rage in me over that night. If I had been heterosexual and made love to every woman, and he didn't say made love, he used the F word here, but I'm going to say, and made love to every woman in the East German Foreign Service, I probably would have gotten brownie points with my commanding officer. But to get involved with a ragamuffin that I found in a cabaret in Schwabing, Munich, was grounds for shooting the little ragamuffin and court-martialing me and destroying my life. Who do these people think they are, passing judgment on me like this, negating all that I had done for my country, the sacrifices I've made? Who are these narrow-minded bigots in charge? I think that what protected me a great deal was the fact that I was in shock, in a way in which I was not in shock in Vietnam after having been shot. I couldn't believe the amount of time I sat in that chair in that dreary office, taken in handcuffs from my BOQ, Bachelor's Office Quarter, the Army Intelligence Headquarters across the street. No, I told them, I was not a spy for the KGB as they had accused me. Yes, I was a homosexual. I was not a spy. Carol was down the hall. I think they interrogated him for as long as they did me, more than 17 hours, and he gave them the same story I had given them. We were boyfriends. We met, we fell in love with each other. It was clean, it was wholesome. For me, it was probably the first time after Don Wynn that I had ever attempted to have contact on an emotional level with another human being. And in many ways, it was the last time I was to function sexually in that way for a long time. After communicating with Washington, it was decided that I should be taken out of Europe as fast as possible. I was kept in the same room from late afternoon until the next morning, constantly being interrogated and never being allowed to rest, listening to Carol down the hall pleading for help. I couldn't lift a finger to help unless I was to do something that would compromise my integrity and tell them what they wanted to know. I was well aware that whatever I said was going to be part of the public record. And the advantage I have today with the Freedom of Information Act is I have all of those documents. It's interesting to read. was 28, a college graduate, former junior high school teacher, a veteran of Vietnam, shot 6 times, and credited with making a significant contribution to the intelligence community. Significant enough contribution that they used at Fort Oliver as an example of what a 9668 can get involved in. Not all clean cut behind the lines work. When the morning came and they were finished interrogating me, I was asked to go back to my apartment, shower, get into my dress uniform, and be ready at 0930 hour to be picked up by sedan. I was to be taken first to the train station and then on to Frankfurt's Rhine-Main Airport. I would be under escort the entire time. The 2 guys who were to escort me were buddies of mine, 2 straight guys whom I had hung out with when I wasn't working out with my gay German friends. They were my drinking buddies in the Army, so the situation was strange. They were given strict instructions that there was to be no verbal exchange between the 3 of us. Standing in my shower, looking out at my room, the bathroom wall had been torn apart when the CID had taken down my door and invaded my apartment. With my 2 friends standing there, watching to make sure I didn't escape, commit suicide, or make contact with the enemy. I felt as if I were living in a movie, only I wanted to find the writer and fire him. I wanted to shoot the producer, and I wanted to do a hatchet job on the director. This was not a fun film. I was told I could take nothing. No clothing, no books, no photos, no household possessions, no nothing. Only some toilet articles. It was the lightest I ever traveled in my life, and I never traveled that light again. Maybe it's an explanation of why I always travel with too much luggage. I sat in the back seat of the car, and we headed out to the Munich train station. There was a Jeep escort in front and a Jeep escort in back. I was never to see Carol again. The afternoon before was the last climb. In the train, I was given a deluxe mahogany panel compartment, something I had never had before. When I traveled on courier runs, I would often have to share with maybe one other person. Now I had a sleeping compartment to myself. We left the station at 11 sharp for Frankfurt. My friends assigned to guard me were thunderstruck with what was happening. Even though they weren't supposed to talk to me, they talked to each other. At first they were very circumspect, just grunts and groans. Then they got into a real dialogue, telling me how ashamed they were of what had happened and how mortified they were that I had not been given an opportunity to talk to anybody from the judge advocate's office. They felt that I had been railroaded and were confused about the charges of homosexuality. They had thought I was straight. No longer in handcuffs, I was sitting on a high-back couch covered in burgundy velvet with dark brown trim. I closed my eyes. I could imagine I was in a 1930s movie starring Greta Garbo, Marlene Dietrich. Blue Angel, maybe. And as I stared out the window of the train, the German countryside looked truly beautiful. I was heartbroken. After having served my country so well in Vietnam, I was going home in disgrace for something that if I wasn't homosexual, no one would have even batted an eye at. In fact, I would have gotten points. It would have been considered a coup to have scored such a great view. The train pulled into the station. We were met by several armed guards. The MPs escorted us out to the curb, and I was whisked away again in a Volvo. And once again, we were escorted by 2 jeeps full of MPs with machine guns, with their red lights going, back to Frankfurt, the town where Kent Fair and I had first gotten involved, and on out to the airport. Frankfurt was not a pretty town, and as the motorcade passed through it, I reflected on how lucky I was to have spent as much time as I had in Munich. At the airport, the cars went in, not by the main terminal, but around back of the airport, through a special gate. Here we were met by Air Force security in 2 cars. After a quick discussion, with the cheap sirens going, the lights going, the full production number, we sped across the tarmac at 65 to 75 miles per hour. Suddenly the Volvo came to a sharp halt, a When I was let out, I turned to my two friends who had remained by me. By this point, I had admitted to them that I was homosexual. It didn't seem to make much difference to them. They had both served in Vietnam, and they were both aware of what I had accomplished. They were mortified that there hadn't been some gentlemanly way of straightening this out. They did not believe I was a spy for the other side. The tall blonde one put his arms around me, hugged me, and said goodbye. All I had to do now was cross about 60 feet of tarmac and climb up the stairs to the TWA plane that had been held for about 15 minutes waiting for me to arrive. It was one of the longest walks I ever made in my life. I boarded the plane and was assigned a window seat with no one seated next to me. I was in the front of the plane and could see the other passengers trying to see who was being escorted onto the plane by all this military security. Everybody on board wanted to know who the celebrity was. I could hardly look back at them. I quietly got into my seat, buckled up, and talked to no one but the stewardesses for the next 8 hours, all the time wondering, what am I going to find in New York? I was just crazed, still worried about what happened to Carol, if they truly did take him out and shoot him. I was also scared shitless about what was going to happen to me when I got off the plane, thinking they'd probably have a tank waiting. The stewardess, who the first 2.5 hours acted as if she were dealing with Jack the Ripper, finally loosened up and gave me her full attention. I guess she could see in my face that I was horrified. I had 8 hours on the plane to get comfortable, watch a movie, have dinner and a drink. I started to slam back the vodka. After the second drink, I realized if I was to be present and accounted for when I got to New York, I had better stop. There was no way I wanted to face the nightmare drunk. Still, the vodka relaxed me a little, and I must have catnapped for an hour. When we were within 20 minutes of landing, I'm searching for page 5. I'll have it in there. Hang on. When we were within 20 minutes of landing at JFK, I suddenly acknowledged the seriousness of the situation I was in. My anxiety had subsided for a while, but now it all came rushing back. Suddenly, ladies and gentlemen, Flight 2361 is about to land. We expect to approach the gate within the next 20 minutes. Thank you for flying with TWA. I wanted to put my foot on the brake. I didn't want to arrive. I wanted to stay in the air forever. Disembarking, I peeked out the window to see how many troops were waiting for me. Probably a company or two, I figured. There was nobody. Nobody. JFK had the tubes that came from the terminal out to the plane, so I thought maybe they were waiting for me inside. But when I walked through the terminal, it was just the typical stuff. There were crowds of people excited about seeing friends and loved ones arrive. But I could see there was no one waiting for me. There was nobody there. Amazing. I figured that the reason security wasn't there to meet me was because they thought I was on an earlier flight or a later flight, but I expected them to show up eventually. You know what I should do, I thought? I should go home. I should go to California. But I had very little money, not enough to buy a ticket for California. I had no credit cards, only my billfold with some ID. Army intelligence had put me on this plane with no money. I was trying to remember what they had told me in Germany about my arrival. They had said, these are your orders to get you to New York so you can be picked up by the CID and the FBI and taken into custody. They are bogus orders. We only need them to get you on the plane. Don't pay any attention to them. It was clear that I was simply being delivered to New York to be arrested again. But damn it, there was nobody there. I waited at the terminal near the exit just in case someone showed up.
I didn't want there to be any reason for them to assume that I was trying to run away. I had done nothing wrong, and I wasn't going to do anything wrong. I was afraid to move, though, because what would happen if they thought I was trying to escape? This was the paranoid nuttiness that was running through my head. They might be waiting for me to escape so they could shoot me if I tried to leave the airport. I was in my dress uniform with my Vietnam medals, my Purple Heart, good conduct, sharpshooter, my combat experience. All of it was on my chest. People were politely stopping and asking, "Can we help you?" And I'm saying, "No, I'm waiting for someone to pick me up." I waited and nobody showed up. Whom do I call in the Pentagon? I don't even know where the Pentagon is. I thought it was in Washington somewhere, but it's in Virginia. Fearful that I was going to fall through the cracks and be accused of desertion, and yet needing the time to rest and try to collect myself, what I did was I went into New York City and checked into the Henry Hudson YMCA. From the Y, I made 2 phone calls. First, I called my parents. I told them the truth, that I had just been arrested and accused of being a spy. I assured them that I was not a spy. I told them I suspected the real reason the Army arrested me was that they had discovered my secret, that I was a gay man in the military. My family already knew that I was gay, but my mother was very upset. And my dad told me to remember that he loved me and that they were always behind me, that I was their son and very important to them. Then I called Uli Vogt, a mutual friend of Carol's and mine in Munich, and asked him to find out what had happened to Carol Rohn. He said all shit had broken loose. The CID were all over the gay bars. Carol had disappeared. He had just vanished, and they feared for his life. I was devastated. Traumatized, I stayed in my room at the Y for several days before it occurred to me to take a look at my bogus orders. My orders said, report to Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn. I had been told they were bogus, but I didn't know what else to do but follow them to wherever they led, in this case, to Brooklyn. I called Fort Hamilton, got the adjutant, and told them I had just arrived, that I was coming in from Munich via Frankfurt, and I'm on my way. That's strange, he said. We don't have orders for you. Well, I don't know why you don't have orders for me. I have orders and I'm coming in. I was not about to volunteer what had just happened to anybody. He said, for Captain Rosenbalm, you're not scheduled to be here. Well, I've got orders. Well, sir, I don't understand how you can have orders without us knowing that you're being reassigned here. All the while, I knew, of course, that he wouldn't know that I was coming. Let me talk to General Gray, he said. General Gray gets on the phone. Captain, what's your MOS? This is the chaplain school here in Brooklyn. Are you a chaplain? No, I'm a 9668. What the hell is that? Do you have your MOS manual handy, I asked him. I'm looking it up right. Whoa, Captain. Tell me what's going on here. Your MOS is classified as secret in my manual. There's no reason why anyone in a secret MOS would have orders here. Are you sure your orders are cut correctly? Yes, sir. And I cannot tell you what I'm doing here because it's a secret. I was trying very hard to find a place to be arrested, and the only thing I had to go on was Fort Hamilton, and that turned out to be a chaplain school. And the fucker's afraid of me. He thinks maybe there's a CID investigation coming or something. So I got him all nervous. Suddenly, I'll tell you what, this is obviously something very big. I'll have a car pick you up. It'll take us about 25 minutes to get there. You stay put. Get your luggage and we'll be right out to pick you up. I'm thinking, luggage? I don't have it. I'm traveling light. This is a quick inspection. When I arrived at Fort Hamilton, I walked into headquarters and reported to General Gray. Generals always have such an air of self-importance. Everyone gives them deference, and they themselves believe they are superior, more so than even a chairman of the board of a major corporation. General Gray had all the trappings. He had Vietnam mementos and photos covering the walls. He talked like a redneck. And since he was assigned to Fort Hamilton, he must have fucked up somewhere. If you're in the service, being assigned to Brooklyn to the chaplain school is a dead end. Anyhow, I wasn't thinking much about that. I was worried about Carol and wondering what I should do so as not to make a misstep. I told him it appeared to me that I was being reassigned. I told him I thought I was going to be picked up at the airport, but no one showed. And it was unclear as to whom I was supposed to report to, but I had done exactly as I was told, to the letter. General Gray told me he had been advised by the judge advocate that a 9668 was a top secret MOS and it was forbidden under acts of Congress, but my MOS ever to be assigned inside the continental United States. That's true. In the 40s, during the formative period of U.S. intelligence community, the FBI acted as the counterintelligence that took care of everything inside the United States. All of the foreign espionage and intelligence would be handled by the CIA, then called the OSS. The FBI had no business overseas and the CIA had no business domestically. And here I was, a CIA type. Not CIA, but a CIA type. A 9668, a spy, being assigned to Fort Hamilton. He knew something was up. The general said, "Captain, level with me. I can be trusted." I said it's on a need-to-know basis, and I can't tell you. I was thinking, Jesus, if I could just get a few hours breathing room here, it would allow me to collect my thoughts and try to figure out a game plan. It would give me a chance to get a lawyer, somebody from the judge advocate's office, so I could sit down and map out a strategy.
Wow.